It's been an evolution, primarily because there's a large open source community that wanted their projects to run on Windows and to run with Microsoft. So we view it as a way to extend our ecosystem. In a sense, we're nurturing the creation of an open source ecosystem on Windows. We have customers that have come to us and have said, look, Microsoft, we're going to use your products. We're going to use technologies from other companies, including open source. Can you please make them work together? Well, the languages that people are using quite broadly for building so many web applications are Ruby on Rails, PHP, Eclipse continues to grow in the enterprise, and we feel that it's a good way for us to extend the reach of our platform by embracing these languages for building solutions on Windows. Codeplex.com is Microsoft's forge for running these applications, and I mentioned it's doing quite well. We just had our 10,000th project built out on there. There's a large number of people who go to it. It's a nice, healthy forge. There are some that we're just doing on our own. For instance, I mentioned CoAuth, which is something that we're released through the Codeplex Foundation, which is separate from our Codeplex.com forge. And this is a build system for building open source applications on Windows. And we've started to get some contributions coming from non-Microsoft people, which is always an important step for the growth of a project and a forum. We're spending an awful lot of time in the PHP community and for the applications and frameworks that run on top of PHP, so Joomla, Drupal, WordPress, we're working heavily with those organizations and some of the companies around it, because we're seeing a very big growth in the deployment of those sorts of solutions on Windows and on Windows Azure. We have shipped SDKs that enable you to build Azure applications using Java, using PHP, using Ruby, and using command line PHP. Ideally, it's continuing to reach out to the open source community for two reasons. One, we have a lot to learn from them. And two, by cooperating with them, it makes it easier for the OSS community and Microsoft to collaborate and deliver great solutions to customers, because that, at the end of the day, is what drives all of the innovation that both we and the open source community do. As I mentioned earlier, we'll be spending more and more energy helping PHP and web developers build on Windows and Windows Azure, and we'll continue to invest heavily in document format interoperability. The more we work with open source, the more we realize it's not like one monolithic Borg-like community. There are businesses that want to make a lot of money by running on Windows. There are IT developers and IT professionals who just want to get things done and want stuff to work together. And then there's a very, very small subset who always just think we're evil and all we can do is be nice to them and just continue the path that we're on. So in general, by reaching out a hand to the open source community, we generally are seeing a hand being reached out back to us. So there's good collaboration there. We hear from our management, it's so important for us to make these investments in integration and interop because it makes our customers happier. And that's how we continue to grow as a company and as a platform.